is a good book. I'm trying to say this in a way that makes sense, but like half the things that come out of my mouth don't. I'm not gonna remember that, let's be so for real. I honestly don't have a reason. This just doesn't feel very rom-com-y. Maybe just pick up a rom-com. No. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we have a book stack. You guys already know what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I have read in April. We're gonna go through them all. I'm gonna tell you my ratings, my feelings, my thoughts. A lot of the books that I read this month were mainly on my Kindle. I just felt that it was a lot easier. I was going through a massive book slump the start of this month, so it was just easier for me to just start on my Kindle. And honestly, I read a lot of it on my phone. For some reason, the endless scrolling just was a thing for me this month. So if I could trick my brain into scrolling but like doing something productive while scrolling, that was just way easier for me. So let's start with the books that I read on my Kindle and then we'll move on to like the actual physical books that I read. The first one I actually have the physical copy of, so it's The Fury by Alex Michaelide. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that actually. So this first book is kind of an insane concept. It's these three friends who get stuck on an island, but they're all like famous, so obviously there is some bad blood and secrets that aren't shared with each other, and it's kind of like frenemies vibes, but you can honestly tell that like some people adore the other person while the other person's like, I actually am only your friend for X, Y, and Z reasons. This was really interesting because it was all of them stuck on an island and then a murder occurs, and I knew who it was from probably halfway through the book. Since this book's concept is really good, I gave it a 4 stars, but I did guess who did it like halfway through. I feel like you could kind of easily pick up on it. I liked the way that the narrator was telling things. Normally I don't like third person point of view. Normally I'm like, I want first person. I want to know what all the characters are thinking. But this is third person point of view where the narrator is a person in the story, but also kind of tells you what they think was going on at certain people's minds in that moment. Then there were moments where it was like the narrator would say something and then backtrack because they're like, wait, I need to tell you this in full detail actually. It honestly just felt like a friend was telling me a story. That's what I liked about this book. Some things I didn't like about this book were the plot twist in general and the way that I kind of knew who it was from the get-go. You can kind of guess who did it, but not how they did it, because the way that this murder occurred was just so left field in my mind that I was just like, oh my god. And then you get to the end and there's another twist after you think that it's about to wrap up and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna freak. Pretty good. It was a nice little fun time, but I honestly probably wouldn't really recommend it that much. I just feel like some parts dragged and the narrator was kind of iffy to me. It was just like, oh, I'm trying to say this in a way that makes sense, but like half the things that come out of my mouth don't, so like bear with me. So 4 stars. Let's stop talking about this book because I don't know how to make it make sense. It's so hot in here, but I can't open the windows because then the birds are gonna be so loud. I'm struggling. When they said being a YouTuber isn't hard, they didn't sign me up for this. Moving on, the next book that I read is Powerless. I read this on my Kindle. It's by Lauren Roberts. You guys know, and you guys probably love this book because I feel like every booktuber has talked about this or read this book at this point. I finally read it, and it lived up to the hype, honestly, in my mind. I'm always so iffy about reading books that were on Book Talk and hyped up on Book Talk because I'm like, y'all are liars. By the way, hey, I tried reading Icebreaker and y'all lied to me. So when I first picked up Powerless, I didn't really have any feelings going into it. Normally, I'm just like, I need to block out what the rest of the internet is telling me I need to feel, and I'm just gonna have my own opinion on things. It doesn't matter what these people think. If you don't like the book, you don't like the book. But that wasn't the case. I enjoyed the book. I loved it. It's 5 stars. I screenshotted so many things from the book. It's actually insane. No book's good when it keeps me up until 4 a.m. Want the physical copy so bad because I can't stop thinking about it ever since I read it. This book kind of made me realize that I like fantasy books and I should probably start reading more fantasies. Because also look at my little fantasy shelf back here, like not super full, like we need to get more fantasies going, girl. Like I love all of the fantasy books that I've read, so why don't I keep it going? Anyways, Powerless, 5 stars, loved it. Go read it, it is so good. Even if you're not a fantasy girly, I swear you will be after this book. Okay, next book that I read was also on my Kindle, but it is One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. Let's start off by saying One of Us is Dead was entertaining. I normally don't read books that just like entertain me and just baffle me in a way where it's like I'm sitting and I'm listening to gossip. That's what the whole book felt like to me, honestly, and I liked it, but some of the parts had me just like baffled, not in the baffled way of like a thriller where you're like, oh, I never saw that coming, that's such a good ending. It was just baffled because I couldn't believe that these people like thought this way. One of Us is Dead, I gave it a 3.5 stars. I also like the setting of it too. It started in this like hair salon where this girl who's doing all of these other girls' hair gets to know about all of this gossip, but she is also a bystander. She knows all these ladies and she does the hair of all these ladies, and these ladies try to act like they're friends or they're not friends, and let me try to explain in a way that actually like makes sense. Maybe let's try that for once, Bryn. I don't know how to. I honestly don't know how to like get my thoughts out. Hopefully this makes sense, but while I was reading the book, I was really entranced and engulfed in the book, but the second I put the book down, I wasn't really ready to pick it back up. I liked it, I didn't love it. I love Geneva Rose though, like don't get me wrong, I just think that this book didn't hit the way that I wanted it to. I also think that it wasn't a good time for me to read the book, so I might have to reread it. Okay, we're finally on to the physical books. Let's start with this one, The Thursday Murder Club. Honestly, this was good. This felt like a cozy thriller mystery book. It felt like I was like watching Sherlock Holmes. Like I can watch Sherlock Holmes and be like, this is a cozy mystery to me. So this book kind of gave me the same feeling in a way. It happens in a retirement home and someone dies and all these people are just so themselves. I think I was more obsessed with the characters than the story going on because so they're very bold is the words that I'm looking for. They're just very bold people. I think that I like this book more as a character study instead of looking at the actual like thriller or mystery aspect in it. I just liked studying the characters and learning that, okay, this person really sucks, but maybe they suck for a reason. And then you learn about their past and you're like, okay, I kind of feel bad for them. I understand where they're coming from now. I just like the character study more so than the actual story, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5 stars. I just found myself really skimming the pages when the mystery aspect would come. Yeah, I don't know, just liked it for a character study, so it's a 3.5 stars. Okay, I hate to break it to you, but the rest of the books are actually DNFs, so let's go through them real quick. Let me explain why I DNF'd them and if I'll pick them up again. The first one was on my TBR, and it's The Altogether Unexpected Disappearance of Atticus Craftsman. I had to look at the book because that's a long freaking title. I'm not gonna remember that, let's be so for real. I honestly DNF'd this book just because I wasn't feeling it. It's another mystery book, and I've read so many mysteries this month that once I finally got to this one, I was like, I can't handle another mystery. I need a rom-com. I need happy vibes. I don't need to be on the edge of my seat once again. So that's honestly the only reason I DNF'd this book. So for right now, it's a soft DNF, which means I will pick it up probably later in the future. Honestly, probably next month. I'm just not in the mood for a mystery right now. So that's why this one was DNF'd. The next one is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This book I DNF'd, I think, last month too. I don't know why. I honestly don't have a reason. I don't think I can give you a reason. It's just not the vibes for me right now. This book just feels like Clue. Those are the vibes, but I just wasn't feeling the vibes at that moment. Honestly, I think I DNF'd this book because one, I was going through a book slump, so a big book just intimidates me when I'm in a book slump, but also I picked this up on a day where I was going to the beach and I was like, oh, I can't read this right now. I soft DNF'd it twice now, so we'll see if I ever finally get to this in my lifetime. Who wants to place bets? Okay, second to last book is Someone Else's Shoes by Jojo Moyes. I think that my mom actually picked this book for me to read last month for my TBR video. Love that video, I'm so proud of it, but I never really got to this book. I read 2 pages and I put it down. Once again, I was in a book slump, big book, intimidating, and I also wasn't in the mood for like a literary fiction. I was really in a mood for the rom-com, and I was like, this just doesn't feel very rom-com-y. This feels really literary fiction at the beginning, so I'm like, take a step back. This is another soft DNF. This one for sure is a soft DNF. I will definitely pick this one back up probably next month, honestly. It was just really intimidating to start with, and I was like, I don't think I'm vibing with a literary fiction either right now. So as I've said countless amount of times now, I was really in a mood for a rom-com. So you might be asking me, hey Bryn, is your next book that you read or DNF'd going to be a rom-com? Did you actually pick up a rom-com? No. I chose to do the actual opposite of that, and I picked up another mystery thriller book. This is Not a Happy Family by Sherry LaPena. This is actually one of my favorite authors for thriller books. I read The Couple Next Door by her not that long ago, and I was obsessed with it, so I was like, Not a Happy Family. Let's pick this up, let's read it. And once again, I got 2 pages in, I was like, this is not a rom-com. Maybe just pick up a rom-com. So yeah, I soft DNF'd this one too. I'm definitely gonna get to this one though, because this one's really interesting to me, and I have been needing to read it and wanting to read it for so long. I just needed a rom-com, okay? And I don't know why I kept picking up everything other than a rom-com. So yeah, another soft DNF. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant about all of these books. I hope that I gave you enough to know what these are about, if you should read them or not. And honestly, I don't know how I felt about this month. It was a good month, but not a good month for books. I just really didn't read that much. I wasn't entranced by books like I normally am. I just don't know how to feel about that. Crossing my fingers I'm not losing my love for reading, because look how much I've invested into it. How am I supposed to lose my love for reading now? Let me make it make sense. So hopefully next month is better. I will keep you guys updated, of course. Hopefully next month I'll do some book videos. I didn't do any book videos this month. I was going through it. Normally at the end of these reading wrap-ups, I recommend you one book that you should go read, and I think that this month's one book you should read is Powerless. I really loved that book. I was obsessed with it. I got through that in a day and a half. I love you so much. I will see you guys so soon with my TBR video this month because I'm so excited. Hopefully I'll get back into reading by picking out some fun books to read. Goodbye.